technical striker at all. I think he's a brawler. You've seen him do it time and time again. He breaks people. For a guy that shredded and that big, he's got cardio for days. This guy, when he beat Uriah, what was it? Mm-hmm. Was it who did he beat?
Uriah Hall and then Yoel Romero.
Yeah, it was Uriah Hall. Yeah, it was Uriah Hall first. He broke Uriah Hall. He broke him mentally. He gave up out there. And, of course, you're not going to break Yoel Romero. And those guys fought pretty much exactly the same. Came forward and just swung for the fences. For someone like Izzy Adesanya, he's got the potential to finish this guy second or third round. Izzy is a counter striker. He waits for guys to make the mistakes. He takes advantage of it. And I think this falls right into his game plan, what he does best for Izzy. The guy's aggressive. Paulo Costa's aggressive, and he swings. He's got a lot of big movement in his striking. He loops his strikes, which is going to be perfect for somebody like Izzy to just take a half a step back and counter back with a right hand or a left hook, kind of like he did with Robert Whittaker, right? And Robert Whittaker, I believe, is faster than Paulo Costa. The only thing about Paulo Costa is that he's durable. He's very, very durable. He's very tough to finish. I think after the first round, maybe Paulo Costa, if Izzy can tire him out just a little bit, it's going to slow him down. And Izzy Adesanya is going to be able to have a field day counter-striking this guy. So I think I got my man Izzy. I think winning that fight. And Paulo Costa, he's tough. He talks a lot of crap. He's got a physique like no other. I remember at UFC 217, he was fighting. He fought Johnny Hendricks, and Johnny Hendricks, in the back, we were going to the venue. He had so much confidence. This guy, Johnny, was like, "Yo, I can't wait to get out there and beat the crap out of this guy." Anyway, we're in the opposite corner, and I see this dude come in with glasses, nice shirt, and he takes his shirt off and starts hitting mitts, and I'm like, "Who the heck is this guy? He's gonna kill whoever." I remember Chris Weidman was back there too. He was like, "Who is this guy?" I mean, just shredded, just freaking jacked. And I'm like, "Dude, he's fighting Johnny Hendricks. Johnny Hendricks he's gonna murder Johnny Hendricks." He almost did. He almost did murder Johnny Hendricks. I feel so bad for him. That's the first time I ever saw Paulo Costa. And I think Izzy, knowing what I know Izzy can do, I think he can finish with Paulo Costa.
What do you think that you and Paulo Costa nowadays, you guys have forged the biggest rivalry in the UFC with all the past trash talking, etc., the level that you guys are at?
No, really, no, I don't think so. I'm just enjoying myself, poking fun at the bear as he wallows away in his own fucking piece of shit. But yeah, let him do him, and I'm gonna keep doing me. I'm not bothered.
Throughout his career, Costa has always been accused of doping himself. What do you think of that?
I think he is.
And does that worry you for the fight,
Okay, can you answer me a question? What happened to Romero's last fight with Uriah Hall? What happened?
I honestly don't remember. Sorry.
Okay, no, your Romero pulled out of his last fight with Uriah Hall. And, I mean, unbeknownst to me, I thought it was just an injury reason, but it hasn't been stated that it was an injury. And there's, I'll just leave that as allegedly. But some things are not being spoken for that should be spoken for, but no one's asking the right questions. I don't really, it doesn't bother me. I beat Romero. If something comes out and he popped, I still beat him when he was juicing. So I say this about Costa. I'm gonna pump him before USADA does, and I plan on doing just that.
And what's the strategy to fight a guy like Costa?
Fuck him up.
And Costa here, another striker, and you're no stranger to take on some of the best strikers in the UFC. Anderson Silva, Robert Whittaker. Where would you rank him among the strikers that you faced up?
Bro, even in kickboxing, he's not one of the best. I faced way better strikers, so that's not even close. In the UFC, strike might be maybe, I've had like how many fights? I don't know. He's definitely not the best fighter. I feel like Silva's a better striker than him. Whittaker is a different striker than him, but can be better. He's definitely not the best striker I fought. He's dangerous, though. That's one thing you have to remember. He's dangerous. But he has to remember, so am I.
we're not really talking about what comes next for you because the magnitude of this fight is so big. We're not saying, what about this guy or what about that guy? Do you feel that going into this fight, that the magnitude of this one just feels bigger?
No, not really. I'm glad it's feeling that way because that translates to pay-per-view dollars or streaming buys. But no, I've kind of like been. I haven't even posted much training footage, so people think I'm sure I haven't really trained for this fight, which they are welcome to. But yeah, I've just kind of focused on just life and other shit rather than just this for this fight.
In terms of matchup, you know, a lot of people look at this fight and think it's a technical striker against a brawler, a technical guy against a very aggressive guy. And I know you talked about, you know, picking apart and seeing a lot of ways you can beat Paulo Costa, but you still have to be, you know, you have to be aware of a guy like that, like him throwing those haymakers and things like that. Even though technically you're the more sound fighter, you still have to be aware of that.
100%. Like I said, he's a dangerous man. I said that just before as well. He's a dangerous man, but so am I. And what's going to be his downfall is his his lacklusterness when it comes to me. He thinks like, oh, he's just going to walk through whatever I throw at him. All right. I welcome him to try.
No, Nick, he's your friend. Do you think this is more about money? Do you think this is more about competition? What do you think is spurring this return potentially for Nick?
I think both, because I think he actually was burnt out for a while. He took a long break and was, as everyone knows, without partying. I think he was really sick and burnt out of the sport. He had never really had a break since he was like 16. All he knew was fighting. So I think he really actually needed that mental break. But last time I talked to him, he was back in the gym and seemed to really want to fight again. I think the only sticking point is probably money, because he knows that he is a big star and wants to get paid. He doesn't like to get ripped off and taken advantage of. And like we all know, people are going to tune in for a Nick Diaz pay-per-view. Dana can act like it's not, but everyone knows, everyone wants to watch the fight.
Has there been a concern for at least yourself personally with the partying and some of the things you've heard from Nick over the last 5 or so years?
I mean, I think there was one point where maybe he got a little out of control, but we knew he was bringing back in. Because Nick, see, a lot of us, we were all, I've been partying since I was like 14. So for me, it's like I have a fight, party. It was normal. Nick, never drank, never did anything other than smoke pot, obviously. But, he was completely just dedicated, just train. So I think when he did kind of go that way, for a minute, he got a little too out of control, but now he's reined it back in. I think he's got that part of his life over. He's not out in Vegas all the time anymore. He's back training, and I think we're seeing the old Nick coming back. But unfortunately, he's got to bring back, Nick needs to be angry to fight, so he has to bring back a little of that anger. So hopefully he's able to do that. And maybe Stockton's the place for him to be. It's an angry town, so I think it might be better to Nick to be out there a while instead of Vegas. It is great. I'm glad he's finally enjoying life and having fun, but when he wants to fight, he needs to isolate himself again and probably go back to where people are a little meaner and a little harder.
Leaving the UFC, going to Bellator, was it a decision you made all at one time? How was that thought process, making that transition from the UFC to Bellator?
I knew with the UFC that I had a certain amount of fights left, and when it came to this kind of decision between the UFC and I about me doing some things they wanted me to do and me being unable to do them because of other commitments that I actually had with them specifically, there was this ultimatum, and instead of taking the ultimatum that I have always taken historically with them, I decided to see what my options were should I not take the ultimatum. And what I found was that Bellator had all these, opportunities and plans and ways they wanted to treat me and offer me things that I wasn't getting, that seemed like a breath of fresh air to me. So when it came down to the decision of what to do with those, circumstances, it ended up being rather mutual for me to go my way and for them to go theirs. No bad blood. I appreciate the UFC, the promotion of me, all the opportunities that I had, the years and opponents and everything I got to accomplish there and experience there. But, it's a closed chapter at this time, and moving forward with what I have at my hands is so refreshing, and I'm really looking forward to what I can do here now that I'm in Bellator.